Stuart,
Yes,
how do we surrender an attachment completely?
I can't hear you, Nina.
How do we surrender an attachment completely?
Still can't hear you. Speak up.
Can you hear me now?
Hey, a little better. Yeah.
How do we surrender an attachment completely?
How do you surrender an attachment to?
Completely.
Well, look, uh, look, when you have serious attachments, they're not going to go, you're not going to be able to surrender them like turning a light off and on in a room. It takes time. You have to build a system that gives you the capacity to let go. Now, you have to realize is that we get attached. It's part of the behavior, the pattern we built up, the way we've lived most of our lives. We attach ourselves to things. And developing an inner life that can transform that kind of system takes time. It's not something that just goes away. You understand? It's time. It's like rehabilitation. It's like getting free of drugs, getting free of alcohol, stuff like that. You really have to completely recondition your inner life so that there's no more need for that type of thing. And the best substitute for that type of thing or any kind of attachment is a connection with spirit, because that connection will nurture you, it'll give you life, it'll fill up that void inside you that is usually we get attached because we're lonely, we're afraid to be alone. That void will get filled up inside you. But it takes time to build a system that can do that. It's not like, well, how do I get detached? Well, do this, and that, and the other, and you'll get detached. Well, I can tell you, get grounded in the third chakra, open your heart, you understand, quiet your mind, you'll get detached. But it takes time to learn how to do those things. Meanwhile, you've got to deal with it. You understand? You have to say, okay, this is my work. And I am going to build an inner life that is strong enough to detach myself. Your relationships. So, there's a million things we're attached to, kinds of food we eat, I mean, it's endless. It's endless, I mean, people, you know, just about everything becomes a habit that we get attached to. And a lot of it is very poisonous.
Mm.
The food people eat, for instance, it's very hard, look, to change the toothpaste you use. I mean, you can stand in front of a shelf of toothpaste in a pharmacy for an hour before you can pick another toothpaste. I mean, it's crazy, but we are so conditioned to live in certain ways that it takes a monumental effort inside to change. And it's much easier to just succumb to that habit and that attachment than make the effort to build a system inside yourself that can truly free itself from things that are eating your life away.
Thank you, Stuart.
And it's not only you, Nina, everybody. I have things like that, that I know I have to work on myself in order to detach myself from it. But those things make me grow.
Mm.
Understand, they're not negative things. The things you're attached to are not negative. Your attachment to them is negative. Those things are only there to show you the work you have to do on yourself. So they're not really negative things. They're not negative experiences.
Mm.
They're just showing you got to do this work. If you don't do this work, this is what you got for the rest of your life.
No.
It's terrible. I mean, people get into relationships like that, and then they want to get detached. They can't do it. They're lonely. They don't want to be alone. And years go by, literally years go by, before they can just say enough. They have the system built in them. They can say enough. Prior to drinking Coca-Cola, it's enough with Coca-Cola, with Pepsi-Cola, with all that, junk foods that people eat and drink and stuff that's killing them. Alcohol, same thing, I remember I once had a student who lived in Miami, and her mother had emphysema, but she would smoke 2 packs a day of cigarettes a day with emphysema. It was horrible. So I once said to her, you have this problem. Why are you doing this? She said, I would rather die than stop smoking. I mean,
My
imagine,
stepdad said that. Ugh.
yeah, I would rather die than stop smoking.
Mm.
And I don't know what happened to her, but I suspect she didn't live very long. So people have to build the chemistry, the system, the chakra system in themselves that is strong enough to step away. I mean, when I was younger, I used to smoke cigarettes, and I smoked a lot of cigarettes. And one day I started studying with Rudy. My system started getting really stronger. And one day I said, this is it. I never touched a cigarette again.
I
Never.
stopped the day I started our work.
This is it. Finished. My
Yeah.
system grew to the point where it could not take that poison anymore. And it said, it's enough. Never touch the cigarette again.
I know.
But up until that point, I used to smoke like crazy. Does anyone else have a question? I mean, if your heart is open and you are connected to higher energy, spirit, you'll never get lonely. Loneliness isn't, there's love inside. If you can live with yourself, if you can like yourself, if you discover your own self-worth, who and what you are as a human being, the joy of getting up in the morning, of, loving your life, loneliness is a non-factor. But you have to build an inner life that can do that kind of thing. And then we don't get into relationships that can be terrible relationships just because we feel lonely in ourselves, Somebody paid a little attention to us. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, then there will be class on Sunday. And thank you. God bless you all. And I'm looking forward to seeing you on Sunday. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
Bye.
Thank you, Stuart.